Welcome to the David Bradley Show with your host, David Bradley.
Hey guys, how's it going? So we made it through CMA Fest, barely, but we're busy as all get out now. So y'all stay tuned because we got a lot of great shows coming. And if the ones out there that know me, I really, really love things that help out people and charitable things. And we're going to talk today with Miss Lisa Regina, and we're going to talk about all the great things she's doing for the veterans. So, Lisa, how's it going? Where you at? Where's she at? There she is. Hi, Lisa.
Hi. How are you? It's going great.
Oh, I'm tired. We had CMA Fest and all that other stuff, and I'm still editing video for it. So it's just crazy.
I'm sure that's many hours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've got, with my setup and everything, I've got it streamlined, so it doesn't really take me as long as some of these other guys. I can usually knock it out pretty quick.
Oh, that's good. What are you cutting on? Adobe or Premiere?
No. I take and I record everything on an SSD card, and then I upload it from the SSD card to, believe it or not, iMovie.
Hey, that works. I use that too.
And then I'll run it through and correct all the volume and everything else. And because we're editing all the angles and everything else as we go, as we actually record the show.
It's a lot of work.
It's almost like I got a TV station here.
Nice.
I guess in a sense I do, but hey, it's all good, fun stuff.
Yes, it is.
So anyway, like I was telling you before we went on, I want to touch on some of the stuff that you've accomplished so far in life. I mean, actress, an advocate for a lot of people, and you've actually had was it a full school that you had, or was it just like an individual basis where you were teaching people how to be actors?
Well, it all started when I was studying at New York University in the early 90s, 1991, 1992.
Our age now.
I was studying filmmaking. I was studying theater, educational theater at New York University. I had this sweet little professor, Nellie McCaslin, who she was amazing. She said, "You're a teacher." I guess she saw the way I interacted with the younger students because I was a mature student. And she said, "You should be teaching acting." Right. So she sent me over to the Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York City. I interviewed with the director at the time, Peter Jensen. He hired me and I started teaching there. And then I learned real quick that I needed to become an independent acting coach so I could still do my own acting. So I wanted a more flexible schedule. So I started my own business coaching actors.
Awesome.
Yeah. And like most folks in the film and TV industry, we wear a lot of hats. So I was not only coaching, but I was writing and filming my own little independent film projects.
Yeah, I've had several indie movie makers, directors on my show. Omada Films was on. Me and them guys sat and talked for 2 hours and something. And then I had Aaron Mendez, which he's one of the top guys in the Nashville area as far as indie goes with doing horror movies.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So, I mean, I was really amazed at how many indie actors, actresses, movies, all that stuff is just right here in the Nashville area.
I'm sure. I'm excited to come back. It's been many years since I've been in Nashville. And as I was saying to you, I have friends in Murfreesboro. Pam Arnell is in Pulaski.
Mm-hmm.
the executive director from 220, great organization helping veterans. But yeah, I think, just as an artist, the independent filmmaker, we have a lot of heart,
Yeah.
because, typically you don't have a big budget. So you become very ingenious on how to make a film happen with barely any money.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's the, just from the conversations that I'd had with them, it's like if you had a specific set, it was like you were putting on Facebook or on Marketplace. Anybody got any free wood? That way you could build your set.
Exactly. Yeah. You learn to be very creative on how you work on a shoestring budget.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I figured that out when I first started this podcast. I was just like, holy crap.
Yeah. I think it's good though, because then when you finally do get that budget, you can really stretch every dollar because you've already done it with no money at all.
Well, yeah. And then, the equipment that you already bought, that doesn't have to come back out of your budget again. So
right.
Get a little bit of freeway.
That investment. Yeah. The first short film that I ever wrote, directed, produced, the title of it was Kenny, and it was about a friend of mine who was born with ichthyosis, a very rare skin disease. And I wanted to raise awareness for Kenny. But the point is, back then we didn't have drones, and I didn't have the budget to have a big crane. So I went to the local fire department. I spoke to the fire chief. I explained to him the mission of the project, and he loved it. And he was like, yeah, I can help out. So we used one of the fire trucks. I put my camera guy in the cherry picker, and we got that cinematic shot.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how many of those people will actually just love to help out.
Yes. Especially when they care about the person or the mission or the cause. Definitely.
Oh yeah. And people don't understand that sometimes just a simple please goes a long way.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt to ask. Hey.
That's true. I mean, you never know. Oh Lord. This is one of these days. I had a brain fog.
We'll have to get you to stand up and do some jumping jacks.
I'm fluffy, not fitness. Well, I can't say I'm fluffy because then Gabriel Iglesias will get on to me about that. I'll be getting a letter from his people. You never know with him. So anyway, how many movies have you done, like full length movies, or was it more just like TV series or stuff?
Well, as an actor, I started out in New York City, pounding the sidewalks. Back then you went into a studio or to audition in person. It's very different than the industry is now since COVID. Most of the auditions that I do now are on Zoom. I still audition. I have a manager, Casey from BAM Management. She's great. But yeah, I worked on a lot of independent films. I think the greatest learning experience and the most fun for me was working on Sopranos, because I was a stand-in for Lorraine Bracco, and all my days, very long days, 14-hour days at Silver Cup Studios.
Right.
I was always on set with James Gandolfini, and Lorraine. So I got to know them, from being on set, and he's dearly missed, I'm sure by many, but I really found that he was down to earth. He was very sweet. And we spent a lot of time talking about family and friends and life. And there's no doubt in my mind, if he were alive today, he would be producing heroic episodes with me, because Jimmy really cared about our military men and women. He was a real patriot and supporter of our veterans. So I worked on that Sopranos on the pilot before David Chase or anyone maybe knew that it would become the success that it was. And it was awesome. I learned a lot about film production, and that's really one of the reasons why I wanted to do the stand-in work, so I could learn um, learn about film production, learn about the industry.
Right.
So I was on the pilot and then the first few seasons, and then they gave me like a little cameo on the fifth season premiere episode. Um, that was a lot of fun because all the lead cast members were in that episode. And it was, like a one little liner for me, but it was fun. And yeah, it was a great experience. So as far as my acting, a lot of feature films, indie films, as you spoke of, and then got into writing and producing short films.
Right.
And yeah, so it's been many years and a lot of passion.
Yeah, that's man, that would I would have loved to have been on the set with all that.
There's so many stories. I mean, funny, like when I first read the Sopranos, pilot script, I was like, wow, this is so realistic. This has to be based on some true, stories. And it was, just always fun, always a learning experience. Everyone was kind. Everyone was, there was a lot of camaraderie in the beginning, on the pilot.
Right. Say, I that's what I always envision. Like when I see a movie or something like that, I'm like, these guys, especially if it's a comedy, it's like I just sit there and envision, these guys had a blast making this movie.
Yeah.
Telling how many takes it took to get a certain thing because somebody busted out laughing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's probably what I would do if I was ever on one of them.
Yeah, there were some fun moments, especially when you're waiting for, when you're standing in, the star is in their trailer getting ready, getting their makeup, wardrobe, and you're there for the purpose of lighting and getting the everything set up for them. And it may seem like a very, small role to play, but if you use it as a learning experience, you do learn a lot about film production because you're behind the scenes as they're setting everything up. But we had a lot of funny moments. We really did. I don't know if you remember the episode where he's fantasizing about Dr. Melfi.
Not right offhand.
It was a funny episode, but one of the key grips made a comment. He's like, just think, we're having so much fun today, like you were saying, and we're actually getting paid for this,
Yeah, it's I mean, where else can you get paid to, do that type of, the script and everything else and have everything laid out in front of you? Yeah. You get fed, you get a trailer, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. You're very grateful when you have days like that.
I wished I had a trailer around here. I'd run away to it every now and then.
Sneak in a power nap, right?
Well, I get up at 3:00 every morning. I do a day job.
3 a.m. Whoa.
3 a.m. I go to work at 4. I get off at 1:30, come home, and I work on the podcast.
Wow. Well, that is admirable. And now I feel really special.
It's either admirable or crazy. I haven't distinguished it yet. You never know. I mean, it's just, I've always loved movies. I've always loved music. And it's just, when we put this together, that's what was my key thing. I want to do entertainment industry because that's what I grew up with,
Sure.
It's all fun.
It is.
I might have to take classes from you though.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah.
Because we were doing the CMA Fest and I had 2 or 3 people like, we love your voice. Can you go on tour with us and just announce us? And I'm like, okay.
That's great.
Get into voice acting. That would be weird to me, just the voice acting part.
Well, it does require acting. The emotional connection has to be there because, and there's a lot of physical movement too, especially if it's an animation.
Yeah. I seen
Mm.
I seen a show that had Tom Hanks on it. It was one of those English shows. I can't remember his name. Graham Norton. He was on Graham Norton's show, and Tom Hanks was explaining how he did the voices for Toy Story.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
they were telling him, you had to do a certain thing and had to do this. And he said, there was voice acting isn't what you think it is, because there's times where climb up the bookcase, so you got to make the voices like you're climbing and the motions, and then if you fall off something, you have to actually go through the motion of it and make it authentic as you can.
Absolutely.
And I was just like, man, sounded like too much work.
Yes, it is. Years ago, I was able to get a sense of what it was like. And DreamWorks Studio, I was there, and one of my actors was doing a voiceover, and it was really cool to watch because there is a lot of physicality in it. And I think there's a video out there of Robin Williams doing his voiceover. And I mean, he is fully engaged, his body, his voice.
I think because I watched Robin Williams from the very first time he was on the Johnny Carson show.
Oh, wow.
And I think he was involved no matter what he did. I mean, he was just like switch on, and I don't think it ever turned off.
Amazing. I was in my neighborhood in New York City, and I was walking down Spring Street with Vinnie Vella, the late Vinnie Vella, fun actor, and we ran into Robin Williams, and he was so calm and quiet, and it was funny to see him that way, just on the street, just saying, "Hey, how you doing?"
Oh yeah.
He's
I love it when you see stories about people getting married in New York City, the park and everything, and then Tom Hanks shows up out of the blue, I mean, I would love to be able to do stuff like that, but I'm not able to at the moment.
Well, when you're ready, I have a great voiceover coach. That's a very, very specialized coaching, and he's amazing.
Yeah. I'm thinking about it. I don't know. I mean, I'm so freaking busy with this podcast now. It's crazy.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's I think during CMA Fest, it was, I'm wanting to say somewhere in the neighborhood of just in a 3-week span, we had over 400 emails. Me and Julie that helps with the bookings and everything around here. Yeah, it was right around 400 emails we were answering and sending back and talking to all these people and getting everybody lined up to do shows at the CMA Fest. And it was crazy.
That's a lot. Yeah, that is a lot.
I mean, my people need people now.
That's good. You're growing. Your team is growing.
Yeah, but they want money now. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
It gets crazy. It really does.
Everything requires a budget.
Yeah, I know. And I was just like, man. But anyway, it's like I was reading all your stuff and kind of browsed on your IMDb a little bit, and I seen where you did the Sopranos and the bakery, the tournament, 79 parts, I believe it was called. And then you did the commercial stuff. Now, how much of a difference is there when you're doing a commercial compared to doing a show?
Yeah, big difference. But I love commercials. I do. Back in the day, it was a lot sweeter because the residuals, they didn't have buyouts where you just got one flat rate for a commercial.
Right.
When I did a Macy's commercial, it was great because it ran. It was during the holiday season, so it ran before Christmas. It ran throughout Christmas and the holidays, and then after New Year's, it continued to run. So I was getting residuals every time that ran. So, and not to say that you don't get residuals with television, but the acting is very different. Yeah, with commercials, it's it's different because your character most times is either maybe spokesperson for a product, or it's you're looking at camera on a lot of commercials. You're talking to one person, talking about your skincare or your hair or something intimate or personal. And with or the big.
Sorry, I'm sorry. A hemorrhoid commercial flashed in my.
Yes, exactly. Or one of those pharma commercials where you're dancing about a drug,
Yeah.
You yeah, it's very different type of acting. But
See, depending on what it was that I was actually doing a commercial for, it would really depend on how much I laughed or just cut up, or it would be crazy.
Yes, it can be.
Because I hate doing like the norm stuff, and I don't like it when people tell me no, because then I figure out ways to make things happen, and it just gets crazy.
I love more dramatic genre, as far as acting as an actor. I love the dramatic roles and the gritty, more realistic type of stuff. I like that.
Right.
Yeah, many years ago, I had a casting director call me, and she's like, "So and so wants to, have you audition, but they're only doing it because I convinced them to allow you." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, why am I doing this?" She's like, "Because he felt that you were too attractive to play a drug addict prostitute." And it was a very gritty film, right? And
Yeah.
she said, "I want you to go in there and prove him wrong." So I said, "Okay, okay." And it was the first time I had an audition that was walking distance from my apartment in New York. Usually you have to get on a train, go to Midtown, whatever. This was like literally walking distance. So what I did was I got myself all grubby. I put baby oil in my hair. I took brown eyeshadow. I put it on my teeth. I put it under my nails. I drank coffee. I got myself really kind of, amped up. And
Right.
then I knocked on my neighbor's door and I asked her for a cigarette. And I was dressed kind of, like a streetwalker, really, really gritty. I even drew like a tattoo on my chest, it's like pretty. So my neighbor looked at me. I said, "I have an audition." So I took the cigarette, and all the way to the audition, I would just go up to people, go, "You got a light? You got a light? You got a light?" And I had people running away from me, and it just helped me to get into character. So by the time I got to the studio to audition, I stayed in character the whole time. They asked me to sign in, and they almost threw me out. They almost called the cops on me because they thought I was someone that strolled in,
Just somebody from the streets.
Exactly. So I went through the whole audition, and the director was saying, "Do you have a headshot on you?" And when I signed in under a different name. I signed in under Tina Rossi because
Yeah.
I knew he already had a preconceived idea of who Lisa Regina was, and he wasn't going to cast me. So I signed in under this fictitious name. And every time he would say, "Do you have a headshot?" I was already getting into the scene. And I told him, "Shut up."
Yep.
Spit flying out of my mouth, so I remained in character. Of course, they thought I was crazy. They just thought I walked in off the street. But I wind up getting cast because I proved him wrong, and I showed him that I could embody this character that he never saw me as,
Oh, yeah.
So
That's
I like that. I like challenges,
yeah, I do too. I mean, I love that stuff like that. I mean, when little, doors won't open and you can knock on them all you want to, won't nobody answer the door? Go to the window, climb through the window.
I like that. Yes, definitely.
Just do what you got to do. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I think the whole industry, the way some of it's set up, and the way people kind of like, it's like they dismiss you from the get-go because they don't really know you. They don't know the full body of work that you can do.
Right.
And
They have no idea what you're capable of, but they make a judgment based on maybe a headshot. That's
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Say they need to do it more where, you actually get a chance to come in and take care of business and do what you do.
Yep. That was fun. That was probably the best audition I ever had because I was able to really, embody this character that he just never ever pictured me as. And it kind of ticked me off because I remember the casting director saying, he said you're a model type. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
we're gonna prove him wrong.
I've never got to worry about that.
Yeah.
Man, that is wild. See, I love stories like that because you people don't picture the reality of how certain things go. And when you can give the reality more of how things actually are, then you might not have some people running to LA to be an actor or an actress with no training, with no nothing, and getting took advantage of.
Yeah, I definitely need training. I mean, it's an art form like anything else. And I'm always brutally honest with my actors who think they can study for a couple months and all of a sudden, they want an agent, a manager, they want their own TV show. It's like, would you really get on stage and dance on Broadway and sing if you didn't have training? No.
No, but oddly enough, I actually like, because we've got it's a place down here in Nashville called T-Pack, and you can go see shows and all kinds of stuff. I went and seen the I can't remember the name of it. Oh God.
It's a theater? T-Pack?
Yeah, T-Pack, Tennessee Preparatory Theater.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's pretty awesome.
Cool.
I'm dropping stuff on the floor. I'm doing so good today. But yeah, I went down there and seen, what was the name of that freaking play? The flip side of Wizard Oz.
The Wiz? Wicked.
Wicked, yes, Wicked. That was it. I went and seen Wicked, and I just fell in love with that play.
Nice. I've never seen it.
You have got to go see it. It is really, really good.
I would like to. I work too much.
Yeah, I know the feeling. How many hours you working a day now?
Many hours. When I'm passionate and I believe in something, I'm relentless. I don't let go of it. I keep pushing the boulder up the mountain, and I've been working on heroic episodes for many years, and I wrote it as a feature length screenplay. I filmed it about 12 years ago as a short because we didn't have the budget to film it, as a feature length. So we filmed it as a short. And my young actor, Jaden Michael, was about 12 years old back then. He played the young teen in it, and he's now 20. And he has 2 shows out, one on Netflix and Prime. And it's just amazing. It gives you an example of like how long I've been pursuing acting and filmmaking. And to watch his career blossom like that. I don't have children, so he's like my kid, Jaden, and when I see him do well, I'm extremely proud of him. I started coaching him when he was 6 years old. But
Awesome.
this project has been a passion because it all started when a veteran captain, retired Army Captain Leslie Nicole Smith, who's a Gary Sinise ambassador.
Mhm.
He called me through a friend, Barry Morgenstein, great photographer in New York. I've known Barry for years. He's amazing. He said, I have a veteran who wants to take your acting workshop. So she called me and she said, I have my credit card, and I'd like to take your acting workshop. She said, and, did Barry tell you I was injured, while in Bosnia serving in the Army? I said, yes, he did tell me. She lost her sight and her leg while serving in the Army.
Mhm.
And so here she is on the phone with me, has her credit card, and she wants to pay for my acting workshop. And I said, I can't thank you enough for your service. You never pay, of course. You paid the greatest sacrifice,
Exactly.
you put your life on the line, for myself and our freedoms. So anyway, she came into the workshop with her service dog, Isaac. I had about 30 actors in the workshop at Barry Morgenstein's studio. And you could see on everyone's face, they were wondering, like, how's she going to do this? She has a guide dog, a service dog. And so I called her to the front of the class. I had my camera set up. And I said, okay, Leslie, I sent you some commercial copy. Excuse my ignorance, but I need you to look directly into that camera lens. And I just need to know, how do you know where to look? She's
Right.
legally blind. And she just smiled and she said, well, I hear your voice and I suppose you're sitting right behind the camera. And I said, yes. Like that, I felt like an idiot. I'm like, yes, that's so true. And I didn't realize,
Well, I
how
mean, if you don't ask, you don't know.
Yeah, right. And, everyone was kind of like, listening, and you could hear a pin drop. She went through that commercial copy in the most natural delivery. She was so comfortable on camera, so beautiful.
Mhm.
I was just like blown away. And I said, that was flawless. That was perfect, And I looked at my class and I said, now that's a hard act to follow. Y'all better do good,
Oh, yeah. Well, I
And
mean, with
that's
her
how it
being
started.
with her being legally blind,
Mhm.
could that have not had an effect of more steady? Because I hear a lot of people, well, I see it, when I have guests on the show too, because I've got a 3-camera setup.
Right.
People get nervous when the cameras are on.
Sure. If they're not used to it, of
Yeah.
course.
So
Mhm.
with her being legally blind, that might have been a good thing.
She's very grounded. Yes, she's very, and as an ambassador for the Gary Sinise Foundation, she's out in the public speaking. She's an eloquent speaker. She's so inspirational. She's positive. She's a friend. And ever since, like I said, it's been many years, over 12 years, that first time in my acting workshop, I realized, I'm like, wow, I want to cast her in my film. So
Yeah.
the next short film that I did, I cast her and I wrote a role for her. She played a counselor for other veterans, like a VA counselor.
Right.
And because she has that, she makes you feel safe. She makes you feel comfortable. And she's so well spoken and so real. You love her. She's just someone you fall in love with. And from that experience, she was on set for 14 hours. Now remember, she came all the way up from Fredericksburg, Virginia, with
Right.
her service dog. Car service, trains from Penn Station out to Queens, New York, where we were filming. Spent 14 hours on set with us, and when we were done, of course, I had a room set up for her. Dinner. Wanted to take care of her. Wanted to thank her. And she grabbed my hand and she said, Lisa, I am so inspired. I loved being on set. She said, I'm going home tonight because I can't sleep. I love the camaraderie. It's that camaraderie that I miss so much.
Oh yeah.
And she went back home and I'm like, are you sure you're going to get home like 4:30 in the morning? You sure you don't want to stay? And she said, no, I love this. And it was so emotional. I just couldn't stop playing that over and over in my head. I kept thinking about her and thinking about what she said to me and how she felt. And that's what started the wheels turning. I'm like, wow, I wonder if other veterans would feel this way. So the next two films that I produced and directed, they were short films, low budget. I cast veterans as crew and cast as consultants. And
Mhm.
sure enough, every veteran on set felt the same way. I had Vietnam veterans coming up, hugging me. We felt forgotten. This was amazing. This felt like that camaraderie that we miss. And that's how it all started. That's how my advocacy work expanded to working with veterans, back 12 years ago.
Right. I love that because, I've got several friends that have served. And one of the things they told me was, you go through boot camp with these people and you develop your heart around them.
Sure, they bond. They really bond.
There's such a bond.
Mhm.
And when everything's over and you're sent home,
Mm.
you're sent home alone.
Yep.
You trained with these guys for 6 months. You go over, you serve with them. You depend, your life is in their hands and theirs and yours.
Mm-hmm.
And they have gone through all this together.
Yep. They survived.
But when you're sent home alone.
Yes. And that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I'm a survivor. April 2nd, 2005, and no way trying to compare domestic violence to war. But as one Vietnam veteran said to me in an interview, I conducted interviews, over the past 12 years with veterans to learn more about their lives and that
Right.
very thing that you're talking about, that transition home. And what I realized through my friendship with Leslie and with other veterans is that trauma is trauma.
Yeah.
And this one Vietnam veteran, he grabbed my hand and he said, you fought your own war, lady. Let's
That's
talk.
right.
And then that's what enabled him to open up to me about Vietnam, because what do I know about Nam? Nothing. I was a young girl. I know my sister's boyfriend went to Nam and he came back a entirely different man, entirely different person.
Yeah.
So everything I've seen, but to experience it, but that's why I'm so passionate, because I realized that, wow, the gap between civilians and veterans is so great. But here I bonded with Leslie. I bonded with other veterans just by sharing my story of trauma, survival. And then they open up to me about their stories. And there's a healing that takes place in just being able to bond in that way and talk about it, and then inspire each other about where you are now in your life. And having veterans on my film set, it made me realize, I'm like, wow, how come more filmmakers aren't doing this? Because veterans are the best cast and crew you can ever ask for. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
they get it done. They don't panic when things go wrong, and things always go wrong in production, right? You know that.
Oh, yeah.
And they keep their head on straight and they get the mission done. And it really made me feel safe. And I was able to watch the monitor as a director and focus on my job.
Mhm.
And they had my set wrapped up tight, safe. Everything was in place. Everything was running smoothly. And when it didn't run smoothly, they got it back on course. And I
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, this makes total sense. Everything they learned in the military, their skill sets in the military,
Oh, yeah.
translates so well to a film set.
Yeah. I mean, plus their own time. They do what they're told and they'll make it work.
Yeah, they have that discipline, that mindset. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
definitely. Yeah,
Of course,
and
they're not prone to prima donna syndrome either.
exactly. Oh no, no doubt. I mean, we were on a farm. This one short film I did, The Shades, and it was 98 degrees. It was like the hottest weekend of the summer, and I had about 40 to 50 motorcycle warrior watch riders, veterans on motorcycles. It was hot as hell, and not one complaint. They just, they were on set all day in that heat, and yeah, no prima donnas. You're right. It was it was awesome.
See, I'm one of those guys. I like when things go good. I don't like somebody acting like they're better than everybody else, because it's like I tell people all the time. In the morning when you get up and you go to put your underwear on and your foot gets stuck, you fall over no matter who you are.
I like that. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. So true.
Well, I had to put it in a comedic way. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
I think comedy heals more than what people let on.
It sure does. And I learned that veterans' sense of humor is very, very dark, but it makes
it's twisted as all get out.
totally twisted. Yeah. I went to a film premiere in Virginia, and I was probably one of the few civilians there. And my Army Ranger friend kept looking at me going, "Are you okay?" Because the humor and the raunchy and I was like, "I'm good, all good."
Oh, yeah.
But that, again, that bond and that when you survive together and you have that trust, that deep rooted trust like that's special. And that it makes sense why they get each other. They totally get each other.
Oh, yeah.
But
in a blazing saddles kind of way.
Oh my God, that was sitting around the campfire eating beans.
Yeah, there you go.
That's funny. That is funny.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yes. But
I'm gonna get in trouble because I said that.
That's funny. I forgot all about that film. Yeah.
Yeah, see, but when I said it, all of it came back.
Yeah, I saw it.
See, and that's the kind of movies, like if I was going to be involved in a movie, I would want to be involved in a movie like that, where 20 years from now, somebody makes a quote or a joke about it and everybody around gets it,
Yeah, it takes you right back to that. Yeah, it does. It's true. It's very iconic,
Yeah, because I mean, there's been several times I've called somebody Mongo and they just right over top of their head. They didn't even know who I was talking about.
It's funny. Well, even my younger actors, they have no idea what Sopranos is. I'm like, it was like the hottest HBO series, Sopranos. They're like, I don't think I heard of that one.
Now, this may surprise you, but all honesty, I only seen like bits and pieces of the Sopranos.
Okay.
Because when it was on, that was back when I was over the road truck driving.
Okay.
And then I come in on the weekends and I do lights and sound all around Nashville. So I didn't have a lot of time for TV, but I have seen little parts of it.
Yes.
And
well, you have to watch the 5th season premiere episode and don't blink because you will miss my one line there.
Well, I told Caitlin, my producer, I said, I gotta see this because it just, it's nice to know what a guest on your show has done,
Sure. Yeah. It was a great experience for me. It really was. Fun times, really fun times.
I'd have been tickled if I could have been on there with playing a tough guy or something. That would have been cool. I would have liked that.
Yeah. As long as you don't get whacked.
Yeah. Well, the language back then and everything else, it was so different from what it is today.
Yes. A lot of things are different, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. And there's times I wish we could go back to those days, and just have that family unit and the whole set and everything else, and just, yeah, I'm talking out of my butt now. So anyway.
But I wanted to explain that transition. So what happened was, having veterans on set, I started to, I became a drone pilot because I use drones in filmmaking.
Right.
And when I had a couple drones on set, a lot of the veterans were familiar because in the military they use drones.
Yeah.
And that's another light bulb that went off. I was like, wow, I went and got my drone license. And when you think about all the industries that are using drones, agriculture, search and rescue, real estate, inspections, I mean, it's
Roofing companies now are using drones.
sure. It's more efficient, safer.
They ain't got to worry about somebody falling off the roof,
Yeah, exactly. And it gets, especially emergency situations, like we had in one of the counties, a veteran was telling me, like, this truck, 18-wheeler, crashed, and fuel was spilling all over the road. And if they had a drone, they'd be able to get up ahead and evaluate and determine the situation. So yeah, there are many uses for drones. It's a multi-billion-dollar growing industry. So I started to think not every veteran may choose to go into the film industry, but having a Part 107 drone license can really be beneficial, because then they can go into any industry and make some decent money, make a good living. And a lot of them already have the skill set for the drone industry.
Yeah.
So I got my drone license, and I developed this program called the Veterans Drone Training Program. And I put together a proposal and I submitted it. I partnered with Atlantic County Economic Alliance, and that's outside of Atlantic City, Atlantic County area.
Right.
And they loved the program, and they felt that we could get some money, congressional funding. And they were right. So last March, my nonprofit, A Right to Heal,
Right.
was awarded with ACEA, was awarded $150,000 grant of congressional funding. Senator Cory Booker was instrumental in making this happen. He wanted to support the veterans, which was awesome, because as we know, if you have a political leader that is supporting you, that's great,
Mm-hmm.
So with that money, we were able to implement my veterans drone training program. So right now, as we speak, there are 12, there were 12, only one dropped out for personal reasons. So there are 11 veterans in a drone training class. And when they graduate in a couple months, they pass their Part 107 exam, they will each be awarded a drone. It's like about a $4,200 commercial drone to give them a start in their career. So I just wanted to share that with you because I'm very excited about it. And now we just have to figure out, how do we keep this going?
Oh yeah. I mean, and well, that's what I'm curious about too, because with the drone training program and everything else, they've got to go through some really hardcore training for this, don't they?
It's hard. Yeah. And I studied like 3.5, 4 weeks for it. I was very nervous about taking the exam. It's pretty tough because you do learn what pilots learn, which is the different airspace and what they're used for and where you're allowed to fly and all the FAA regulations. The part of the exam about weather. I mean, you have to know every type of weather and what clouds mean and what, different acronyms mean on the maps. I mean, the maps, where's my magnifying glass? The maps have so many details and acronyms. You have to know, like MOA, military operating area, and what each letter and number stands for. It's pretty intense, to say the least. It really is.
That is wild. Because I mean, I'm just a civilian. I figured you just go out to the store, buy one, and go home and try to fly it.
A lot of safety regulations and a lot goes into it. So I'm really excited because to have 12 veterans and still have 11, and they've bonded, like we're talking about earlier, that class, they're all on WhatsApp, and I'm listening, I'm watching them communicate with each other. They're so supportive of each other. They're helping each other. They really are supportive because they want everyone to pass the test. They want everyone to do well.
Right.
So now I'm in the process of looking for more grant funding and more congressional funding so that this program can continue. And, my big dream is to have veterans drone training in every state and every county, so every veteran will be offered this opportunity.
Well, yeah, I mean, that could lead on to, good jobs.
Oh, yeah.
They could take that knowledge and that license and search and rescue, all kinds of different things they could do.
Absolutely. And David, the mental wellness that goes along with that, like just to give you an example, one of the Air Force veterans was talking to me about his prosthetic leg, how some days it's extremely painful, and he's limited to a wheelchair, and he's getting older, and he says, I really am concerned, how am I going to provide for my family?
Yeah.
And on those days that he's restricted to his wheelchair, he can still fly that drone and he can still earn a living.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they've even got drones that are delivering packages.
Yeah.
I was reading on something where they were talking about figuring out, like, you got Uber Eats and stuff like that. They were trying to figure out some ways to, like, deliver food with a drone.
It's crazy. I belong to this aviation cohort, and we would have these guests from all over the world, and they would, like, scientists and I mean from NASA, and I mean, just, it opened up my mind to what they're doing with drones, and it's mind blowing. I mean, they're talking about developing drones that, instead of hailing a cab, you would hail a drone.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was on Facebook, and I seen some of the stuff based on the drone technology. They've actually built like a drone motorcycle with the 4 fans, and they're using, because a lot of people don't understand this too, because I read this on the drones, a lot of the software takes care of a lot more things than you just moving 2 little joysticks.
Right.
And they've used that technology to go on to like a personal carrier vehicle. And it looks like a motorcycle with 4 big fans.
It's crazy.
And, George Jetson, here we come.
I was just going to say, remember the Jetsons? Yeah.
Well, back then we all thought, because George Jetson, the Jetsons was in the year 2024.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And we all thought we'd have flying cars by now.
Yeah. Autonomous vehicles. Amazing. Someone like Captain Smith would be able to drive.
Yeah. You wouldn't have to worry about it.
Amazing. I just think it's incredible. It's freaky too, though, when you think about it.
Yeah, it is, because I've seen a lot of movies that it's like the technology could actually be there already for some of the things that they do in these movies.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have told me before, and I've seen little, workshops and stuff of people talking about how movies are actually a precursor to the future.
Sure, because you do a lot of research when you're writing a script and you're finding this information somewhere.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You might expand on it for dramatic purposes or dramatic impact, but
Yeah.
it's definitely based on a lot of research and realness.
Yeah. It's crazy because I remember when Terminator come out,
Oh yeah.
and I watched all the Terminator movies, and it was scary. And then you pick up your phone one day and you see AI on your Facebook.
It's weird. Yes.
And I'm like, did nobody else see the Terminator? I mean, what is up with that?
What's your cat's name? I can't, not, I mean, it's the funniest thing is your shirt is black, your cat is black. So at one point, all I saw was this tail coming off your shirt.
She was blending in.
Yeah, she was. She was being stealthy. That one, her name is Cinder, but we just call her Sin.
Cinder. I like that.
She's just a typical black, regular old house cat.
Nice.
And then there's another one running around here somewhere. It's a Highlander breed. It has little short, different cupped ears.
Okay.
No tail, and has extra digits on the front paws.
Oh, and she's from Scotland or no?
I have no clue where she's from.
Highlander.
Yeah, my daughter got her from a breeder. I can't even remember the breeder's name, but she's got all that info. And it's a sweet cat, and it'll get up on your chest and just burrow loving on you all up underneath your neck and stuff. And
Cuddler. I could see she's a cuddler.
this one just likes to jump on me all the time. I don't know why. She hangs out with me more than anything else, and it's my daughter's cats.
Why?
You want a cat? I'll send you a cat.
No, thank you. I love animals. I do, but I have a dog. September will be 2 years I'm married, so I guess I'm sort of a newlywed still, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Right. And my husband's dog Cosmo, when I first met him, I was like, he's a great guy. I was telling my girlfriend, he's a great guy, but his dog's crazy. And now, who do you think is cuddling with Cosmo?
You.
I've spoiled him.
It's a funny old world how that works.
Yes, he captured my heart.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing I did was I bought a bigger cat tree and everything for them to play on. I figured they would be on the cat tree and they would leave my equipment alone.
No.
Yeah. Cats love cables. I can tell you that straight up.
I'm sure.
I've replaced like 4 headphones and all kinds of stuff. So
More like 6.
6? Was it 6?
Yeah, because I still have them waiting for someone to water with them.
That's funny.
Oh, I'm sorry. I totally forgot that. Lisa, that is my producer, Caitlin, talking to you.
Hi,
does-
Caitlin.
Hello.
She doesn't like to be on camera, but she will use a microphone.
You don't want me on camera today, anyways. I have like a muscle tee going on.
Yeah.
Nice.
She looks like she just came from the gym.
Pretty much did.
That's good. I like working out. My husband and I, we hit the gym. We're not gym rats, but we go 3-4 times a week. Try to keep a little. Wait, let's see. Oh,
Where? Yeah, I'm just fluffy. I ain't got time to go to the gym. It's like,
well, you're up at 3 a.m. going to work. That's kind of tough. Yeah.
and then I've still got 40 shows, little short shows, interviews that we did down at CMA. I still got 40 of those to edit.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then I've got this show and 3 other shows that I'm going to have to edit. And they're the longer full length shows,
Sure. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
You better take your vitamins.
Nah, eat a lasagna. I'll be good.
Drink Mountain Dew. Your diet is powdered donuts and Mountain Dew.
Look, I don't care who you are. Those little white powdered donuts are the shit. I'm telling you. I mean,
They are good.
That's funny. That's
What's
what
your-
my husband will have one of those for breakfast and a cup of coffee, and he's fine. And I'm all into my organic oats and fruit and protein shakes. And
No, Lisa. Everybody gets a cheat day. So on a cheat day, what's your favorite cheat day food?
wine and nice piece of bread and olive oil and cheese. I'm Italian, It's
I was
like,
supposed to say you're definitely Italian.
yeah. Or carrot cake. Oh, I love carrot cake.
I have not had a good carrot cake in forever. I'm gonna have to call my mom.
Yes, carrot cake.
See, we're talking about a gym, and then Lisa's suggesting carrot cake. Now, just totally blew my workout.
Yeah.
Oh God. So, how long have you had the? You probably told me, but I don't remember. To be honest with you, how long have you had the right
A right to heal.
to heal?
A right to heal. My
Mhm.
nonprofit was formed July 2006. My
Okay.
assault was April 2nd, 2005. So
Mhm.
the following year, I was at this crossroads in my life. It was, pitched to me that I should do this cheesy reality show, which would have, yeah, it would have really exploited my assault and domestic violence. And although I don't have children, I thought, nah, that goes against my grain. That's not who I am.
Yeah.
And I tried to pitch the producer right back. How about this? How about we do something educational that raises awareness for domestic violence and inspires others that are struggling with these issues?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, well, there's no money in that. So
You know what? Whatever happened to
helping others?
without thinking about a dollar?
Yeah. So that conversation was about a 3-hour kind of back and forth. I mean, I'm grateful I had the opportunity to sit down with a producer at his level and talk about this, but he definitely was sold on exploiting who assaulted me and not really caring about the issues. So
Yeah.
we parted ways, and I knew from that point on I would be on a path of education, awareness, and advocacy, using my performance skills, writing, acting, to communicate a message and raise awareness. So I became a YWCA keynote speaker, traveled across the country, and I visited universities and high schools and spoke out against domestic violence and raised awareness. And it was really rewarding, and it was part of my healing process, helping others. And then I started working with veterans when I met retired Army Captain Leslie Nicole Smith, and
Right.
really bonded with her, and then expanded my advocacy work to include veterans.
And then the drones.
Yeah, and then that grew to the drones, and I'm really, it really goes back to, I think, who you are, inside, who you are as a person, as a human, and it was always who I was, education and arts, and never saw myself doing a reality show or exploiting something that happened just to make money.
Well, I mean, I don't understand the whole reality show realm anyway, because you can call it reality all you want to,
Yeah, it's
but
scripted.
they Hollywood up everything.
Yeah, it's definitely scripted.
I mean, it's my biggest peeve with reality TV is with two shows. And I don't care because it's my podcast. I can name them if I want to.
Sure.
The Bachelor
Oh, yeah. I've never watched it, but of course I know of it and I've seen clips of it. Yeah, yeah.
Now, my biggest beef with Bachelor is you're killing it for every freaking normal man out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's no way in hell Joe Average, even with a good income, could get the private jet and the private horses on the beach and the 8-carat diamond ring and all this other stuff. There's no way.
Right. It's not real.
No, it's not real. And if I have to hear one more time the Real Housewives of any daggone thing, and they're in a $10,000 mansion
Well,
with cooks and maids and nannies and all this other stuff, that is not real.
yes.
You want to get back to the human nature of everything, be real in the area, because average people don't have 10,000 square foot house. They don't have maids. They don't have nannies.
Right.
They have 2 jobs and they're killing themselves trying to provide for their family.
True that. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's what I would like to see.
Yeah.
I even told a friend of mine that was on my show, I said, the number one show I'd like to see right now, and I wish somebody would just grab the reins and take off with it, because I don't know how to do it. I've only wrote half a treatment on a show that I was thinking about doing. And I would like to see Redneck Bachelor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
her on a date, go mudding, go fishing.
Yeah.
And at the end of the date, instead of being on a tropical island somewhere that nobody has even heard of, with, people serving you your food and everything, show that man cooking up some catfish for that woman, and they have got the bed of the pickup truck lined in blankets and pillows, and they're sitting there eating. That's reality.
It is. But again, back to that producer, it's all about the ratings and the money. But I would love that. I think that's a great concept, and I think it's real. And I'm hoping that audiences are craving real, because
I think you're going to see a big shift in America
I hope
within
so.
the next 2 to 3 years,
Mhm.
because I think a lot of people are getting sick of the fake crap.
Yep. Sure. Well, then they'll love heroic episodes.
Exactly. And that's what I'm hoping they do.
Everything I've written is based on true stories. Veterans, their spouses, their siblings, their family, their communities.
I loved everything you was doing about it, because I was reading on it, how you had actually put it together and the whole process. And I'm like, this is the realest shit I've seen on veterans in a long time.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. And the veterans that I've interviewed and that I've shared it with, they have given it the thumbs up. And that makes me feel really good, because most of the writing, when it came to anything to do with their transition home or with their prosthetic that's painful, or going for a fitting for a prosthetic, or actually going through the amputation and the loss of a limb, or coming home to their spouse or their siblings or their family, or like, everything is based on truth. And I've consulted them on the writing because I want it to be real. I don't want them to watch it and go, that's BS, that never happened, or that would never happen.
Yeah.
So
that's what I liked about there was a couple of Navy pilots that reviewed Tom Hanks's latest endeavor.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, that wouldn't happen.
No.
There were so many things in that movie. It was just like, it's Hollywood. That's no way that would happen.
Right.
You cannot parachute out of a fighter plane at 10 G's. Not going to happen.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like things that have heart, a lot of heart,
Yeah.
and that show, the underdog, something inspiring, something that gives
Oh, yeah.
hope, something that shows resiliency, which, I think is so important to show that, and humor, still have the humor because it can't be all,
Well, I mean, I'm going to have some people probably say something to me about this, but I don't care. Look, I'm divorced 3 times. I've went through my own crap with 3 divorces, and
Sure.
give me a rom-com every now and then
Mhm.
where there's humor and there's that love and that that does it for me,
Yeah, I get you. Yeah, definitely. And by the way, when my sister got married the 3rd time, I said, "Are you sure? Is this the right one?" She said, "You keep doing it till you get it right."
Bull crap, because I'd go broke.
Yeah, that's one point of view, right? Yeah.
I'm going to tell you the story on that. Now, this is advice that came from my mother after the first divorce. And she told me, she said, whenever you get an urge, why don't you just rent somebody to go on a date with you or do this or do that, whatever. And I said, Mom, I have never in my life paid anybody for anything like that. And she turned around and said, how much child support are you paying?
Oh.
Where's that new house you built?
Hmm.
Didn't you have a new car?
That's tough. Mm.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
And she just thought it was funny as all get out. I bet she cackled for 20 minutes.
I bet.
And it was nuts. I mean, I'm just like, come on, I mean, I would never, first off, never.
Now
But
we know where you get your sense of humor.
I have no clue. A lot of it came from my dad. He could talk to a stop sign. My mom said my dad could talk to a stop sign all day long, and she said that I could argue with one all day long. So I don't know. I like talking to people. I like having conversations. I think if more people had just conversations, a lot more things would be solved.
Yeah, everyone's here texting.
I can't tell you how many times I've been to just a restaurant and to get something to eat. And, I'll go by myself. It don't bother me. And just give me that table over there in the corner or something, and I will sit in there and order my food, and I will just look around because I love people watching.
Yeah.
And there's so many people out there that are having no conversation whatsoever, but you can see the glow of the phone on their face.
Yep. It's crazy.
And that's just not the way I was raised, but when I grew up, when you hung up the phone on the wall, you could get away from the phone.
Yes. The one that dialed.
Yeah. Well, I told my daughter one time about me trying to win Van Halen tickets. No, it wasn't Van Halen. Who was it? It was Kiss. When Kiss first came to Nashville, Tennessee. And I was trying to win the Kiss tickets back in 1977, I believe it was, or 78.
Oh, wow.
With a rotary phone calling into a radio station.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, your fingers would bleed from that crap.
Oh, it's funny. It is funny. I was teaching one of my acting classes, and I said something like, I rolled down my window on my truck, and they went, what? Wait a minute. What do you mean you rolled down your window?
Yeah.
I was like, forget it. It's like.
See, if our parents had bought a vehicle that had electric windows, that was considered a luxury.
Yes.
And I remember the power windows would always screw up and then you'd be stuck. No AC and no windows going down.
Yep. So we have to pitch your idea then for this reality show. You want to get back to what's real. We'll have to. The Redneck Bachelor. I like that.
The Redneck Bachelor. That would be good. And of course, you could always throw a game show in there.
When I was visiting Nashville, and as I said, I have friends in Murfreesboro, the Toombs family. David Toombs, he said, I'm going to pick you up and your friends, and I'm going to bring you out to Murfreesboro, and you're going to have a real Tennessee afternoon, a real Tennessee barbecue.
Yeah.
We had a blast. We were shooting guns out in the woods there, and we had a barbecue going, and it was so much fun.
Oh, yeah. No,
I would take that over a day in Manhattan any day.
When I was over the road, I have drove through New York and Chicago, Michigan, all the big cities. I've drove through them all. And people around here think roads are bad. You can go to New York.
It's crazy. Yes.
It is insane up there. And there is one spot where you leave New York and you go over to the island on the interstate, and there is a jut out. If you don't get in the middle lane, that jut out over the interstate will literally take the top of your trailer off.
I'm trying to picture where you're talking on the.
I'd have to look on the map. I actually have it marked on my map because I'm one of those guys that Daddy taught me how to read a map when I was little.
Right.
I can go anywhere in the U.S. with a map. Not a GPS, a map.
Yeah, New York City is a little bit different these days, and I don't take the subway anymore. And I lived in New York City, I mean, many, many, many years, 30 years. And I mean, for the 30 years I was up and down the subway steps. That's how I stayed in shape, by the way.
Yeah.
And, I don't take the subway anymore. I was just at a film premiere, The Relentless Patriot. If it is playing in your area, you have to see it. It's an incredible film. A friend of mine, Chris Martini, is the filmmaker, and it's about a patriot artist, Scott Lebedo. It's incredible to talk about independent projects that, the passion and the work that goes into projects like that.
Yeah, it's what I like now. I mean, of course, technology is a double-edged blade. If used correctly, it's a wonderful thing. But after having conversations with some of the independent, movie makers and stuff like that, with my setup I have here, I could literally take it out somewhere, set it up, and make a movie.
You should.
And it doesn't cost $1 million a day,
Yeah.
So bring your butt down here and make a movie.
Well, we're working on bringing the Veterans Drone Training Program to Tennessee. And that's something I'm very excited about. 220 organization. We partnered with Pam Arnell as the executive director, and she's a go-getter. She and I are a lot alike, and she's cares about veterans.
If you and her are a lot alike, then I'm not getting in between y'all because y'all were trouble.
We're both hard workers. We're relentless. We love our veterans, and she's healing our heroes. And she said, let's bring it to Tennessee. I said, I love that idea. Let's do it. So we've had a couple Zoom meetings with some people there, and we're working on it. So I'll keep you posted on that.
Yeah, because, you're welcome at my table anytime.
Nice. Thank you.
We'll just hang out and talk. Have you ever thought about I wonder if anybody's thought about doing a spinoff of The Sopranos where the daughter takes over the business.
I like that. I like that a lot. Get a woman running that family.
Exactly. And you could play it.
Oh, I could. I like that.
Yeah. It's like I tell people all the time. I have 1,000,001 ideas a minute. Just can't keep none of them for myself. Like a muse, I guess. I don't know.
Keep going through yeah. Do you write them down? Your ideas?
Half the time I just tell somebody.
Okay.
Like I said, I've got an independent movie in there, and I've got probably maybe half of the treatment wrote, but it's raw because I've never wrote a treatment before,
We'll have to talk.
And then, there's a script to it, and I don't know how to write a script. I mean, there's so many things that needs to be done with it, but
we'll get on Zoom. I'll share the screen. I'll show you my pitch deck and the show Bible and all the materials for pitching a show.
You mean you just don't walk up somebody's door and knock on it?
No, it doesn't work that way. Netflix? Hello?
Yeah, I'd do this with my show if I could.
Yeah, you have to get through the gatekeepers.
I want to know who appointed them gatekeepers, because half of them don't look like they even finished high school.
A lot of young producers. Yes. Different world now, different industry.
It really is. It's crazy how everything has just changed, and it's just I seen a guy the other day driving a big truck, and he come to the facility where I drive a yard dog at now, and I looked over and I seen this kid just didn't even look old enough to have much less a driver's license. And he's driving a big truck.
Wow. Yeah.
And because he didn't have his GPS on, he got lost in our parking lot. Like, dude.
That's funny.
Drop your trailer here, park your truck there. That's very simple. Couldn't grasp the concept. He had no clue. It was crazy as I'll get out.
That's a tough job. I wouldn't want that job.
Hey, it was a big hit back in the 70s. All about the trucking in the movies back in the 70s.
Yes. My sister's first husband had a couple rigs, and she rode across the country with him, and she loved it.
Well, I mean, you do see a lot of scenery, and you get to see a lot of very beautiful mountain ranges, all kinds of stuff. The bad part about it is you're on a schedule and you don't have time to stop.
Sure.
Say, I used to run out to California and back every week, and
wow, every week.
Every week. Yeah, I was me and the third wife were as team drivers going out and back.
Wow.
And there's no telling how many times I passed the little town of Tombstone, Arizona.
Oh yeah, I was there back in the 80s as a tourist.
Yeah, see, I never had the time to stop to go there. And out of all the movies I've seen in my life, Tombstone, to this day, is still my number one go-to movie.
Nice.
I love that movie. And we just never had a chance to stop. I always wanted to go there and check it out as a tourist,
Put that on your bucket list.
Oh, God. I'd run out of paper on my bucket list. There's so many things I want to do, and so many people I want to help, because I was real rambunctious back in my younger years, and it was about me and about what I could do and do this and do that. And I never really went anywhere. It was like I was spinning my wheels, But I had an epiphany one day, and it was all based around the music industry and wanting to help these artists get out there where people could see them, hear them, independent movies, stuff like that, and get all that out there to where think more about independent movies, the independent artists, the musicians, all that stuff. And ever since I started doing that and started the podcast, it's like my life has turned around. And it's just because I care more about others now than I do myself.
I kind of relate. I can relate to that because after my assault, I was just so grateful to be alive and to survive and to come out of it, that I became less selfish. Prior to that, as an actor, I was selfish. I was just focused on me and what I wanted and what I was looking for, and that assault just made me grateful to be alive, made me so much more grateful that I cared more about others. So I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah. And that's what I love so much about how the way you've turned things around and all the things that you're a part of. And it's all about helping veterans and getting their story out and helping them with the drones and everything. I mean, it's very admirable.
Thank you. I want to help so many more. I want to do so much more. The grant that we were awarded, like I said, we had 12 veterans in the class, and the budget could put 12 veterans through training and give each veteran a drone when they graduate. But when I started looking at just the state of New Jersey alone, where the grant was awarded, there are almost 300,000 veterans living in the state of New Jersey. And in the county where the class is being held, there are 30,000 veterans living in Atlantic County. Yeah. So to help 12 is amazing. It feels good, but it's not nearly enough. So I'm out, knocking on doors, but calling, emailing, looking for those political leaders that really care about our veterans and that aren't just looking for a little splash in the media.
Yeah.
And that will do more, and that will go beyond 12 veterans and see the value in it, So it is an uphill climb, but, I like a challenge, like I said, and I just, I always tell my students, what's your choice? You either continue to push forward and follow your heart and your dreams, or you give up. There's nothing in between. You either do it or not. So, so I'm staying on course and I'm not giving up. And there are so many veterans that wanted to register for this one class. The day of registration online, there were 75 that were trying to register, and we could only accept 12. And we had to shut down registration after we met, the 12.
Right.
And I was thinking, wow, if we would have been able to have that fat budget and leave the registration open, there's no doubt in my mind we would have had hundreds that would have registered for this class that really have a desire,
Oh, yeah.
to attend drone training and have a new career and have an opportunity like this.
Oh, yeah.
Well, so I have faith. There's money out there. Just have to find it.
Yeah. And who knows? You're liable to come to Tennessee and hang out down here a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think this is just me. I'm probably talking out of the side of my mouth, but from what I think southern states help out with veterans more than some of the northern states as far as financially.
Yeah. More veteran friendly states. Yeah. I'm patriotic. I care about our veterans. I'm grateful, and I just think they deserve that and so much more. And I've really developed great friendships with our veterans, and I just think that yeah, they deserve it. They definitely do. And I hear over and over again how our government is not taking care of them. Their system is not taking care of them. They're not getting what they deserve. And I just figure, well, I can complain about that, or I could try to do something about it. I could try to do better.
Yeah. Well, it's me and you were probably raised in that feral generation where only thing we heard our parents say was, if you don't like something, then fix it.
Do something about it. Yeah.
Do something about it. My dad told me before, if you don't like the government, then go be a politician and change it.
Yeah.
To which I said, oh, hell no, I'm not being a politician. No.
I have faith. There has to be, yeah, definitely. I think Tennessee is going to be our state where we get the strongest support for the veterans drone training. I do. I think you're right. And I think, getting in the right network, and there are so many patriotic country music artists that
yes,
reside in Tennessee that, they might get behind this program and see the value in it as others have and make it happen.
I really hope so. Because, I mean, it's like I said, it's very admirable what you're doing. I love every aspect of it. And
thank you.
There's a lot of charities and benefits out there that are not, on level with some of the things, but from everything I was reading on yours, you are straight across the board, 100% what you say you are and what you're trying to achieve. And I love that.
Thank you. Yes, I am. What you see is what you get. And we're going to get her done.
I hope so.
We are. We're doing it.
Well, Lisa, tell everybody how they can help. Give them the websites.
Okay. Well, I'm easy to find, lisaregina.com. My nonprofit is A Right to Heal. So that's AWRITETOHEAL.com. And we are very fortunate because recently actor Joe Mantegna, I don't know if you're a Criminal Minds fan.
Oh God, yes. I love that show.
What an amazing man. What a great human being. My dear friend, Ronnie Marmo, is a wonderful actor, a good friend of mine, known him for years. He connected me with Joe, his friend, and Joe Mantegna loved the project, loved the drone training. He felt it was really valuable and innovative, and veterans could benefit, and he has endorsed it and has been a really strong support. And we're so grateful for Joe. My husband and I, we flew out to California to meet him in person, and it was so nice to meet someone in the industry who is genuine and kind and patriotic. And most folks probably know that he does the PBS Memorial concert with Gary Sinise. He co-hosts that. And what you see is what you get with him. And he's real and he really cares. And to support this has really helped us to get some traction and move it forward. So we're very grateful. But I'm very easy to find, lisaregina.com. All my other websites are linked to that. Lisa Regina on social media. Heroic Episodes is the series that I'm developing, which is based on all true veteran stories. It's very inspiring. It's real. And the veterans drone training is something that I've already started and implemented and very proud of, and just want to keep it growing and offer it to as many veterans as we can across the country because they deserve it.
Oh, yeah, they do. I appreciate everything you're doing for the veterans. I really do.
Thank you. And I appreciate you. And thanks for allowing me to share and to be here with you. Thank you.
Oh, I've loved every minute of it. We find out so much stuff,
Yeah.
It gets crazy, but we have fun around here.
That's what life's about. It should be.
Well, I'm 58 now, so I decided, I was going to try and have as much good, honest fun as I could. I want to enjoy life for a change.
Absolutely. That's what I say. It's about carving out those moments and
Mm-hmm.
sharing it with like-minded individuals and family and friends that you love and supporting our veterans.
Yep. That's all you got to do. Well, listen, girl, if I can help you in any way, you let me know and I will be there.
You got it. I will be in touch. We're launching an online auction to raise funds for the project. So I'll be in touch. I'll be sending you some links and I'm serious. When you want to hop online, I'll talk to you about a pitch deck and writing a script and what that looks like and how to do it.
Oh, yeah. We're definitely going to get it all done because I think what I've got in my head is going to be something that's really, really everybody would want to watch.
Awesome.
And just, of course, everybody's got that dream. But anyway.
Dreams are good.
Dreams. I love dreams. All right. Well, we're going to get off here and let you get back to the wildness of the day.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All right. I'm going to tell everybody bye and hang out. I'll be right back with you. All right, everybody. Lisa Regina, you heard. Check her out. The Right to Heal, the Drone Project, everything she's doing to help out veterans. It is very, very, very good things that she is doing. Check her out. Check the socials out. And I'm sure she might have somewhere where you can actually maybe help donate or time, whatever, to help out also. So we appreciate her being on the show. And like I always say, like, follow, share, subscribe. It helps us all, people. All right. I'm out of here. Love you. Mean it. Bye.